A lot of y'all hoopers think that offense is only about offense and you only have to learn that side of the ball if you want to be able to score. But I'm going to tell you this. One of your favorite players, SGA, who averaged 32.5 points last season, MVP, won the chip. As a matter of fact, is a two-way player, and a lot of the buckets that he gets starts from the defensive end, right? I'm just going to show y'all how they get a stop, and he comes down and leverages the fact they got a stop to then get a bucket. Let's get started. First play over here. You see them get the stop. Boom. Steal, right? Coming down transition. SGA ends up getting this. Notice, right? Catch, rip through, right there, lay, right? Bucket, easy. Pay attention. Understand the dynamics of playing in transition, why it's so important to get stops. Because since they're now coming down and they have quick offense, right? Understand what happens now. They have to communicate, like you see right here, Reed Shepherd do. He has to point out, okay, who gets here? Amen Thompson is the primary defender, so now he ends up having to guard Chet. And now Easton's like, okay, so now I have to guard SGA, and he's neck and neck with SGA now. It's not like he's already set. So what ends up occurring, right, is that the ball gets swung here. SGA steps over here, then Easton just jumps the line, and now SGA just has a whole line to attack and drive and just get a layup. You see how easy offense gets when you first play defense and then you go and attack, right? Notice how easy it's going to be. And these are going to be his easiest buckets, right? By far the easiest buckets. The buckets that actually allow him to build his rhythm. That play right there, you just seen him turn the ball over, right? Notice, right? Even though it's a dead ball goes out of bounds. They get it quick, right? SGA getting it, and now notice how everybody is still getting back. Is that nobody on defense is set? Reed Shepherd, not set. KD, not set. Capella, not set. Thompson, not set. Eason, not set. Nobody is in their set position as a defense, right? They still are getting back. And while OKC is bringing the ball down, notice how they're going to be able to create easy offense, right? Step up screen here, Shepherd, boom. Split that, gets there, boom, and then end up challenging that, and he goes to the free throw line. He hits a free throw, right? At this point, he has 3 points. 3 points, right? Mind you, let's go back on this play. Let's break this down as well. I want to talk about the pace real quick, right? Because he comes off this screen with a slow, relaxed cadence, looking to his left side, and then boom, he changes direction. He knew he had that gap because he uses his peripheral, right? He's not coming off just looking at Reed Shepherd, and he doesn't need to look at the gap to know he has a gap. He just moves, and then he allows his attention to find the gaps, not his focus. Because when you focus, you can only put your mind on one thing. When you have attention, you're aware of all things by looking just in the vicinity of something. So now when SGA goes, Reed Shepherd, he sees him. Now, boom, over commits to that side. Now he splits to that middle, ends up getting fouled right there by Reed Shepherd, right? That's at the second bucket. Like I said, 3 points now. We're going to continue to break every single bucket down. Notice right here too, right? Rebound. Now they're getting out in transition. Notice how he gets such easy buckets. Easton picks up, right? Top of the key. Cross step. Attacks that right side. Layup, right? Pay attention. Notice how the defense stacks up. SGA loves to use that cross step just to give him some time to read the defense. So notice, come here, cross step, brings it back, and now notice the side he's even attacking. The side where KD is playing Chet and is attached and not playing help, right? So now he ends up going this direction, could curve that angle out and get to the rim. And understand, when you attack from the top of the key, right? When you attack from the top of the key, there's nobody already sitting in help. There's nobody already in help. Everybody's going to be stacked outside this free throw line, right? So whatever direction you end up going, someone from the weak side is going to have to step over and to be able to contest you. That's what happens every time. So if SGA would have went this way, right, Amen Thompson would have had to come over from that side and step over and try to block him over here, right, contest him over here. That's what happens when you attack the proper side, where there's no help at the first level. Now on the second level, you end up getting down at the rim and someone has to step over, right? If you go look at the Mastering Your System program that's going to be out very soon, I break this all down. And it shows how you could be able to attack different types of spacing. So I recommend you check that out. If it's not out yet, send me a message and I'll let you know when it'll be out. But for a lot of you, it's probably already going to be out. So that's why it's so important to understand spacing, because principles like this is going to allow you to be able to get from A to B and be able to get to your spots ultimately, right? So it's going to keep you efficient. And SGA, that's what he does all the time. And now he's able to lay there before Adams could step over and gets another bucket. That's 5 points, right? 5 points right there. Now, boom, ball out of bounds. They take it out quick. Notice, boom, SGA coming down. SGA coming down. Amen Thompson on him, right? Screen comes to that right side. Boom, stops, sidestep to that right, bucket. You see how easy offense gets and how little help there is? Because they're playing quick, they're playing in rhythm, they're playing in motion. So understand, even at this point in time, when the offense gets initiated, he has Amen Thompson on this side, right? And now notice how Lou Dort even moved off the ball to help this entire play in itself. Because if Lou Dort decides to be a guard, like most of y'all do, and just stand over here, right? This keeps his help defender right here too, right? But since Lou Dort is going to end up moving down here, notice how his defender is also going to end up moving down here, which is going to open up everything SGA is going to need over here. Notice it's the little things. It's the little things I'm trying to tell y'all, right? So whether you're on, you have the ball in your hands or you're off the ball, you have to move and you have to space the floor so your teammates could cook, right? So now notice SGA, boom, hits that tween right there, and like I said, Şengün drops with him. Şengün now drops here too, so now he's because Lou Dort is now dropped down to that corner. He just simply moved a few feet down, not being so antsy trying to get the ball because he knows his role. So now SGA is able to drive, right? Keep his head up and see Adams in the paint, and then instead of going down to the paint, he's just gonna hit this little side step over here to the side, right? Pete, boom, side step. Adams still in that paint, shot, bucket. Easy offense, right? That's another bucket off a stop, right? That's 7 points. Let's keep going. Off a rebound right there. You just think SGA get the rebound, step up screen, Verjao, split, easy layup, 9 points, right? Verjao screen in transition. That's insanely tough to guard. Insanely tough to guard. Because even in transition, people try to communicate and talk. Now, Amen Thompson sees Hartenstein step over. He's like, okay, he's going to set a screen. I'm going to come this way. He's going to switch. But in reality, nope. He's going to come around and flip this and set a screen right there. That is so tough. This is the type of stuff that as a guard, you got to teach your bigs. If they don't know how to do it, don't be like, oh, man, they don't know how to do it. We can't do it. Teach them. Because now you know, so you can show them how they do it. How to do it, right? So, boom. Comes over here, flips it. There's no help on this other side of the screen, right? So at this point, it's a matter of, is Steven Adams going to come here and take this away, or is he going to go to the man that he was already with? And you can already see he's going this direction, right? So with that said, boom, he's going to come here. Reed Shepard's not even in help. They're in transition. Layup, easy 2, 9 points. 9 points. Let's keep watching. Missed shot, SGA rebound, comes down this right side. Notice what happens. He gets in, don't have anything. Comes over, Verjao by Hartenstein, split, layup at the rim. Notice how easy offense gets because the defense is already moving. The goal is to get the defense moving. When the defense moves, that's when they open up angles for you. That's why transition is so powerful because they're also going to bite out on a lot more things than usual, right? Because they're not set. They're not able just to actually have their full attention. They're not able to have their full concentration, let me say, in the moment, and they're more so thinking about going from offense to defense, and they're not able to fully mentally be able to understand okay, I'm here on defense, right? This is the power of transition. The power of transition. Notice the patience too. He goes, wait, I don't have anything. Brings the ball out. Verjao right there. So now Şengün's like, oh dang, he's Verjaoing it. So now he's dropped back behind the play. He jumps out, and now he sees him moving out. Boom, split, and now off that split, there's no weak side help. Right, even understand, like I said, there's no weak side help because at this point in time, they're in transition. They're still getting matched up. You see Okogie, he's looking this direction. You see Eason, he's attached on the weak side corner, right? So now by the time SGA splits, they're like, oh, dang, he's getting to the rim. And they can't even contest it because what? Transition. Next bucket. Let's keep watching. Shot by Şengün. Rebound by SGA. Notice what happens. Coming down transition. Watch the bucket. Stops, boom, split, foul right there by Şengün. Goes to the line, gets 2 free throws, right? 2 free throws, that's 11, right? He ends up hitting 2 free throws. Comes down here, just notice, Şengün's not set. He's calling somebody over. You see his hand right there. He's calling somebody over like, yo, someone come get the ball. But guess what? You have Jabari Smith, who's already matched up, Okogie, who's already matched up right there, Smith matched up right there, Thompson right there. And now Eason's behind the plate thinking they're just going to switch that, but Şengün's like, I'm not trying to guard him. But so what happens? SGA goes down, boom, split. Şengün gets his hands caught up, foul. Gets himself to the line. Like I said, 2 free throws, 11 points, right? 11 points. Next bucket, right? Even off a make. Mind you, even off a make. I want y'all to notice how he's going to take a make in this situation and turn it into a transition situation. Because even when you get a made bucket, you still have to go from offense to defense, right? You still have to go from offense to defense. So notice here, he gets this catch, comes down this left side, right? Comes down this left side. Hartenstein sets that screen, slips out, lay right there, boom, 13. Actually, I believe that might actually be 15. That might be 15, as a matter of fact. Might have skipped one, right? So nonetheless, pay attention. So off a make, quick inbounds. Notice everybody. The person that's even trying to guard him. Thompson, he's not set. This is what happens when you play with tempo. A lot of y'all just play slow. You think because a team scored that you just got to slow down. No, you just got to count numbers and take advantage of those numbers. Don't mind the light in the back. I don't know what's going on, right? But just take advantage of the numbers. That's the key at the end of the day, right? That's the key, taking advantage of the numbers. So what ends up happening now, right? Pay attention. Amen Thompson, stuck here, screen slips out, and now off that slip out, Jabari Smith didn't communicate. Jabari Smith did not communicate. This should have just been a switch, but it was transition. But so they didn't do what? Communicate. So he has his gap to the middle. He gets to the paint, right? Lay, ends up getting fouled. Hits 2 free throws, right? Next one right here too. Off a made shot. Notice how it becomes a transition situation, right? How he gets this catch. Amen Thompson's picking up three quarters court, right? All the way back here. So he's backpedaling the entire time. So SGA is just going to come down, walk him down, boom, bump, stop, shot, bucket. Amen Thompson wasn't able to get set, establish him in a positioning that they were to lead him to where they didn't want him to go to. So now what happens, right? Thompson now ends up getting cooked. He allows him to get to that left side where he can just walk down and bump him, per usual. He isn't able to get set, isn't able to lead him the direction that is desired to lead him, which would be to the right side better than the left, because that left he likes to use that little shoulder bump, right? So now from here, he comes down, it's a little cross step swivel, boom, shot, bucket, right? He made buckets into transition situations, right? So that alone right there, like I said, that's about 15 to 17 points off of transition plays. I believe it's 17. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can go back and check. But nonetheless, that's just about half of his points out of the 35 he scored that came off of him getting stops or them just playing fast and turning a made bucket into transition. So y'all got to understand, if you really want to be able to score easier, right, get these quicker buckets and get your totals higher, you have to play with tempo. Because when you have easy offense, right, when you play with the fast offense, the easy offense, you don't have to take all the looks in the half court that your teammates really need, right? When you're in the half court, the defense can hone in and take away your shots. When they're in transition, they can't really focus in on you. So now you could just go. You could just go. That is the key to understand. The light is tweaking in the back, but forget about that, right? You got to understand when it comes down to getting those buckets, when it comes down to scoring, right? You have to get those transition buckets if you want to have those totals. If you want to up your totals, if you want to get to that 20, 25, 30 point range, you have to play with some sort of speed. You can't be the one to take every shot in the half court within every set, because it's going to be tough, especially if you're the best scorer on your team, right? It's going to be very tough because the defense is already going to be honed in and have a game plan locked in on you. So what's going to happen as a result? Your shots are going to be forced. You don't want to force your shots, right? You don't want to force your shots. And what you're going to end up seeing as well is that when I continue to break this down throughout this entire game in itself in this folder, you're going to see how even in the fourth quarter, how SGA, when he ends up actually scoring and going into isolation, right, is at a time after all these buckets. It's at the end of a game when it comes down to being clutch. So make sure you take a look at that video as well, because this is really how he built his rhythm in the game. Playing in transition, getting the easy buckets, and now when it comes to playing in the half court, he doesn't do so for his own bucket until it is game time, until it is clutch time, until they need to get the dub, right? He doesn't do it until then. So make sure you watch that as well. All the other videos I talk about, even isolation within the zone, take a look at those. And make sure you really meditate on these concepts, on these principles, so you can actually have understanding and apply it by the time you go play and practice and then go play in the game. So make sure you take heed and you choose discipline. But nonetheless, discipline or regret. You choose.